Hey there, hi there, ho there, hello there. My name's Adam, you're with me on my channel, Kaputy Inc. This is Randers. Come say hi, Randers. Alright. So, quick little tutorial here, and it's how to take a water pump off an 855 Big Cam Cummins. It's a Big Cam 4, NTC 350, I do believe, or whatever. Turbocharged, of course. Andy, that's enough. Turbocharged, of course. So I got the water pump off already. Here she is. There's a gasket right here, water pump housing. This is the thermostat housing gasket, I do believe is what they call that. Right here, the water filter bolts to it. There's two O-rings. They're still stuck to it. I left it there. There's a hose that comes out of the back of here, and this goes over to the air compressor. So it was kind of hard to get to this, so I took it off here, and when I put it on the new one, I'll put this in, tighten it up, and otherwise you really can't get a wrench on it very easily. This water pump's only like 2 or 3 years old. From my understanding, a lot of people don't get much more than 2 years out of it. An old feller told a buddy of mine, that's Tony with a P. So we'll go through a little bit here. I got a new Cummins version coming. This I don't know if this was like a reman or if this was like an aftermarket one or what, but my understanding, for some reason, they don't really hold up very well, the reman ones or the aftermarket ones. So let's get kicking. All right, here we are. Obviously, I've got it out already. So what I did was take the bolts off the front of the fan. I put the fan inside the shroud. Then I took, that allowed me to get the belts off. Then I took my adjusting bolt right here, and I ran this thing all the way up, and it pushes on the water pump housing, so you can't leave it down. So I pushed it all the way up, and then I tightened the bolt down so that the fan hub would stay up, and that kind of kept that out of the way. That other hose runs over to the fan, or over the air compressor here. Great shot there, great money shot. Took the air intake tube off here, so that was kind of out of the way. There's an air line that goes to the fan, which does, which is your air line for locking the fan. There's a tube that goes from here down to the water pump. It's just an O-ring seal, and then it's held on here with a couple of hose clamps. Probably replace that piece of hose, looking a little rough. So, and then there's an idler pulley that bolts right here to the front of the water pump, and two of the bolts that hold the idler pulley hold the water pump on as well. And then the belt, that one's more like a flat ribbed, almost like a serpentine belt, where these are V belts, at least on this truck. And that goes here, and that's the only thing it runs is the water pump. So you got to loosen the idler, take the water pump belt off, take the idler off. All right, we'll flip over to the other side. So on this side, I left the thermostat housing right here. I left that just dangling because it's just 3 bolts, I do believe it was, came down from the top. There's like one here, one on this side, and one on the back side that bolted to the water pump. That gasket's still on the bottom here. I got to get that scraped off. There's a tube here. This runs to the bottom of the expansion tank. That again is just like an O-ring fit, and there's a little tab that holds it in place, so that came out. There's 3 bolts along the top. There's another bolt along the bottom here, which we have a loom clamp on. So just take all your bolts out. And she popped off. You're going to make a mess. I drained the radiator, but there was still water in the block that didn't want to come out. I suppose that's because these hoses are as low as it would. No, that doesn't make sense. Yes, it does. The water drained down to this point, so that part of the block was still full, and the radiator emptied, but there was still this water level. That would make sense. So, yeah, that's kind of it. Reverse that process, putting her back in. Use all new parts. So there we go. That's going to do it for the removal of the water pump on the old 855 Big Cam here, Big Cam 4. It's pretty simple. There's, what do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bolts that go in horizontally, and then there's 1, 2, 3 bolts that are going to go in vertically that hold the thermostat housing to the top of this, and then there's another 2 bolts that go in horizontally that hold the water filter on. So, yeah, and then on the back here, you have the water fitting, you have the fitting that runs your coolant to your compressor. So, put all that stuff back together, got a sweet running rig. Thanks for watching this Kaputy short, I guess. Hopefully it turns out short. But either way, you know you enjoyed yourself. Please subscribe, like, comment. See you on the next one.